Hello all, good evening. Welcome to day 12 of Programming Fundamentals. So yesterday we discussed about inheritance, right? Today we'll try to go in depth about coding and how to use inheritance in different technologies and all. Okay, so just before starting, Manasa Odnala, can you just share your email ID here? You're trying to send requests continuously, right? I think you're not registered with the same email ID. Can you just share the email ID on the chat box so that we can add it to the Google Meet? Yeah. So let's get started, guys. Okay. So yesterday we discussed about like inheritance, right? How many different types of inheritances do we have? Total ga any types ఉన్నాయి చెప్పండి. What is the total count? We have 5 different types, right? And then can you tell me what are those 5 different types of inheritances? Single level, yes. Multiple, multi-level, hierarchical, and hybrid, right? So we have total of 5 different inheritance concepts. Now, today we will see how to use these inheritance concepts in different languages. Java lo ela use chestamu, Python lo ela use chestamu, Kotlin lo ela use chestamu. And then we will also see whether all the programming languages support 5 different types or not. We know that there are 5 different types, but does Java support all the inheritance types? Does Kotlin support everything? We don't know, right? Let's try to discuss them. So first thing, inheritance and the primary thing. Let's start with a single inheritance. How to implement a single inheritance? Now let me share my screen. We'll take one example and then we'll try to write code on top of that. Okay, so now in case let's take one small example. If you wanted to make a payment, okay, how many ways can we make a payment? If you're ordering something on Swiggy, let's assume, okay, how many types of payment can we do? Cash and online. In online, how many different methods are there? We can do using debit card, credit card, net banking, UPI, and with UPI again we have multiple factors, right? Google Pay, Phone Pay, Paytm. There are many ways through which you can do the payment. Now let's take one of such examples and we'll try to make the implementation. Let's say if we have something called payment, okay. If payment is a parent class and I wanted to let's do it for one particular thing, which is cash payment, okay. So I'm going to write cash payment, okay. Now which one is parent and which is child? Parent ఏది ఇందులో? Payment sorry, parent ఏది? Payment or cash payment? Which is the parent class? So here this is parent, right? And what is this? This is child. Now if you want to implement this kind of relation in different languages, how are we going to do that? We'll try to understand that. Now let's see. ఇప్పుడు మనకి whenever you're making a payment, what are the primary details that are required? For example, payment amount ఉంటుంది. Amount, should it be inside payment or should it be inside cash payment? Whenever you want to make a payment, you need to specify the amount, right? Amount and variable payment lo undala, cash payment lo undala. Tell me guys, if you are putting it in payment, which means you are targeting almost all kinds of payments, whether it is credit card payment, debit card payment, or any other types of payment, right? If you are targeting if you are putting it in cash payment, can you use the same variable in other payments? మనం ఇప్పుడు సింగిల్ చూస్తున్నాం కాబట్టి ఇలా we have this kind of hierarchy. When it comes to a different type, let's say we are making UPI payment. Okay, now UPI payment ki kuda manaki payment amount kavala avasaram leda? Do we need it or not? In order to make any payment you need amount, right? Ante total ga enta pay cheyali, what is it? Total amount. So that should be stored at which level? It should be at payment level, right? Shall we try to write this code in 3 different languages and see how it works? Let's go to Java first. Java lo oka class ela declare chestamu? You will simply write class, parent class start chedam, payment. Okay, and then we need to create the variables. What is the variable? We wanted amount, right? Amount data type enti? What should be the data type for amount? Should I use integer, float, double, or which one exactly? We have to use float or even double also based on the amount, right? So let's do here. We have given float and amount. Done. Now, should it be private, public, or protected? Idi private undala, public undala, protected undala? Variables, can we keep them public? If you keep it public, it is accessible everywhere, right? Is it good? It is not. So we can use protected. Protected pedite enti? Evaraithe ee class ni use cheskuntunnaro, like as a child, only they can access these variables, right? Next, payment lo evana actions untaya? There will be one thing, which is public void pay. Payment lo main functionality ide kada manaku kavalsindi. Done. Now this is one class Java lo. Ippudu deeniki child class create cheyali. How to create a new class? Just create a class normally, class, and what is the type? We thought of cash payment and create it. Done. Now ఇప్పుడు దీనికి పేమెంట్ కి ఈ రెండింటికి లింక్ ఎలా పెట్టాలి? In Java we use extends keyword. There is something called extends. You can see, right? Java lo inheritance kosam we use extends keyword, and then you have to write the parent class. Done. Okay, దీని లోపల మనం వేరియబుల్స్ మెథడ్స్ ఇంకేమైనా డిక్లేర్ చేసేవి ఉన్నాయా? In case if you need anything else you can add it, otherwise not necessary. In this case మనకి అమౌంట్ ఉంది, పే ఉంది, ఈ రెండు డైరెక్ట్ గా కాల్ చేసుకోవచ్చు. సో యూ డోంట్ నీడ్ ఎనీ ఎక్స్ట్రా ఫంక్షనాలిటీ ఓవర్ హియర్. సో జావాలో హౌ ఆర్ వి కనెక్టింగ్ బోత్ ద క్లాసెస్, parent and child? What is the keyword that we use in Java to establish a relation between parent and child class? We use extends. Extends, it is plural, extends. Okay, and now let's go and see it in different languages. Kotlin chudama, Python chudama first. Java lo we have seen that it is extends, right? Now let's go to Python as you guys suggested. But first we need to create a class. How to create a class? Class, and then we need to give the class name, right? Payment. Class మనం ఇలా define చేస్తాము, right? And do we need to declare any variables here? Python లో మనం separate గా variables ఏమైనా declare చేస్తామా usually? We don't need, right? So we can directly write the pay methods also. Def pay, and we'll use something called self, right? Done. We have created a new class. Next, ఇప్పుడు నాకు ఇంకొక పేమెంట్ క్లాస్ కావాలి, చెక్ ఫర్ క్యాష్ పేమెంట్. హౌ షుడ్ ఐ డూ దట్? We have to set class cash payment, and then in case if you wanted to add any methods you can add it, otherwise you can just say pass. Now మనకి క్లాస్ డిక్లేర్ చేసేటప్పుడు we have something called init also, right? Python లో how do we write it? Define underscore init underscore and you need to pass the self. And since we are not doing anything here, we are just passing it here. Done. Next. Now, we have created payment class. We have created cash payment class. Cash payment lo kuda we need to create this init method, right? Init function. And you can simply add self, column, and then you can create pass. Done. Now, we have created two classes. Payment అనే class create చేసాము. అందులో ఒక method పెట్టాము pay అని. ఇంకొకటేమో cash payment అని create చేసాము. Now, how are we going to relate these two things? జావాలో ఏం చేసాం మనము? We created a kind of what you say like extends అనే keyword యూజ్ చేసి కనెక్ట్ చేసాం. In here, we are going to do something like brackets, so you have to give the parent name. So this is how we are going to use it here. And మీరు పేమెంట్ ఇచ్చేటప్పుడు పేమెంట్కి ఒకవేళ ఏమైనా పారామీటర్స్ కావాలంటే ఆ పారామీటర్స్ని కూడా ఇక్కడ ఇన్నిట్లో పాస్ చేయాల్సి వస్తుంది. సో ఇన్ పైథాన్ హౌ డు వి కనెక్ట్ చైల్డ్ అండ్ పేరెంట్? డు వి యూజ్ ఎనీ కీవర్డ్స్ ఇన్ పైథాన్? We did not use any keyword. What did we use? We just passed it in a parenthesis, brackets, right? So జావాలోనేమో ఎక్స్టెన్స్ అనే కీవర్డ్ యూజ్ చేసాము, పైథాన్లో డైరెక్ట్ బ్రాకెట్స్లో పెట్టాము. నెక్స్ట్, కమింగ్ టు Kotlin, how do we do that? Kotlin and Java are very similar, right? So same మనం ఇక్కడ జావాలో ఎలా రాసాము, పేమెంట్, you can declare the variable whatever you wanted to use. We wanted to keep it as protected, right? Protected, and it was amount. Since we wanted to say it is a variable, we can use val or var based on the necessity, and you need to give the type, right? And you can also assign some default value. Next, we need to add one method also. So function pay, just an empty method, nothing else. Now we are creating a child class. Child class ela create chestamu, cash payment, right? And now how are we going to connect these two things? Java lo extends vaadamu, Python lo brackets vaadamu. In Kotlin, how are we going to do that? Kotlin is much newer language, right? So adi Java lo unna advantages, Python lo unna advantages teeskoni it comes up with something simpler. So they have come up with something called column. Just మీరు ఒక column enter చేసి you can give the parent name, payment. That's it. So this is how we can actually create using single inheritance, right? So ikkada are we done with what we say like creating relation between both the child and parent? We have seen it in 3 different places now, right? Now if you wanted to do it for a different purpose, let's say UPI payments cheyali, how are we going to do that? If you want to do for UPI payments, now payment అనేది ఒక క్లాస్ ఉంది and it has 2 child classes. What does that mean? Which hierarchy is this? Multiple children but having single parent. Which inheritance is this? Tell me guys. Can anyone tell me? Multiple parents, single child unte multiple inheritance, right? If you have one parent, multiple children, then what inheritance is this? No, multi-level means something like this. It's like grandfather, father, son kind of relation. But here we have a single parent which has like multiple children, right? It is hierarchical. Yes, this is called as hierarchical. Hierarchical, manaku just try to imagine how it will be. It will be like this, right? Again, malli ee children ki kuda enta mandi children aina undochu. So this is kind of hierarchical, right? So now if I want to create another payment type, which is UPI payment, Is it hierarchical or is it multiple? It is going to be multiple because payment is same, right? So let's go and create a new class now. Class UPI payment. Okay. And UPI payment. Which one should be the parent of UPI payment? Who is the parent of UPI payment? Payment or cash payment? It should be payment. So what? How should we extend it? Java, which keyword do we use? We use extends payment. Then, if you have to do the same thing in Python, how do we do that? Class UPI payment, and who is the parent? It's payment, right? Done. So how are we doing it? We are doing it using parentheses here, right? And we are passing the parent class. Next, in Kotlin, how should we do that? UPI payment. And what is the like keyword, or what is the symbol that we use for parent relation in Kotlin? We use colon, and then give the parent name. Done. Now in UPI payments, do we have other types? UPI payment అంటే ఒకటే ఉంటుందా, దాంట్లో can we have multiple types of payments? Can I do it using Google Pay? I can do using Google Pay. What else? I can do using Phone Pay. I can do using Paytm. Right? So we can do it using all these different types. Now, for example, if you see Google Pay, only Google Pay తీసుకుంటే Google Pay parent evaru? Who is the parent of Google Pay? It is UPI payment. And who is the parent of UPI payment? It is the payment, right? So overall, how many levels do we have? We have payment, UPI payment, and then Google Pay. Can we consider this as multi-level? Can we consider this as multi-level, guys? Yes, we can, right? So let's try to create one of such things. Now, I need to create a new one. How should we do that? Create a class, Google Pay, UPI, and parent evaru Google Pay UPI ki. Who is the parent of Google Pay UPI? It is extends UPI payment, right? Now, I wanted to do the same thing for Phone Pay. How should we do that? Same thing, right? Phone Pay UPI. And for Paytm, Paytm UPI, right? Now, can you see, like, we have created a kind of hierarchy. Payment anadaniki, how many children does payment have? How many children does payment have? It has 2 children. How many children does cash payment have? 0. How many children does UPI payment have? 3. Right? Now, let's try to do the same thing in Python also. How to do that? Class Should I pass payment or UPI payment? You have to pass UPI payment because UPI payment is the parent, right? Paytm UPI. Done. So all these are using UPI payment, and UPI payment is using phone like a payment class. Next, if you have to do it in Kotlin, it is much simpler. Just give column, and what is the parent? UPI payment. And next, Paytm UPI, right? So we have created this hierarchy. So ఇప్పటి వరకు మనము ఎన్ని ఇన్హెరిటెన్స్ టైప్స్ కి కోడ్ రాసాము? Did we cover single inheritance, single level? Did we cover multi-level? If you see here, multi-level మనకి 3 places లో వచ్చింది. Payment, UPI payment, phone pay. Payment, UPI payment, Google Pay. Payment, UPI payment, Paytm. So we have used 3 places, right? Multi-level inheritance. Next, hierarchical inheritance. Did we cover? Hierarchical also we have covered, right? So first payment ఉంది. దానికి how many children does it have? 2 children. And ఈ 2 children లో మళ్ళీ ఒక element కి we have 3 children, right? So this is a kind of hierarchy. Now next ఇంకా మనకి మిగిలినవి ఏవేవి ఉన్నాయి? What are the other things that are available? Multiple, and what is the last one? Multiple inheritance ఉంది, ఇంకొకటి hybrid inheritance ఉంది. So till now, ఇప్పటి వరకు మనం ఏవైతే చేసామో 3 different types of inheritances. Are these 3 supported in Java, Python and Kotlin? They are supported, right? So this is one of the common mistake many people does, guys. Interviews lo like Java lo any inheritance type support chestayante, blindly many people say it is only 2 inheritance types. Java lo any inheritance types support chestundi ippudu? So far we have seen 3 different types, right? What are those 3? Single level, multi-level, and then hierarchical. So Java supports 3 different types of inheritances. Next 2 chestunda leda kuda we will see. Alage Python, will it support the other 2 inheritance types or not? And similarly for Kotlin also. If they support, how do they support? If they don't support, why are they not supporting? We need to know those reasons also, right? Shall we go into the next example? Now, let's take a normal, regular, real-world example, which is like what we say, like parents and children. For example, if you take a particular, like let's say a child, okay, and does a child have one parent or 2 parents? Does a child have one parent or 2 parents? It has 2 parents, right? Mother and then father. So in real world, multiple inheritance is possible in real world. Now we will check if this is possible in Java or not. Shall we check it? So guys, remember one thing, whenever someone asks you a question, don't just think of it like అంటే ఇది పాసిబుల్ అవుతుందా లేదా, లైక్ అలా ఎక్కువ ఆలోచించకుండా just try it out. That will be much faster and best way to remember also. So multiple inheritance Java లో సపోర్ట్ చేస్తుందా లేదా, we'll try to see now. Let's get back to payments after some time. Let's keep it aside. Now, మనం ఇందాక ఏదైతే అనుకున్నామో అదే చూద్దాము. First, if you want two parents, we need two classes, right? Class, let's say mother. And then another one is class father. Now, let's say class child. How should we connect these parents and children? How should we connect it? In Java, we use extends keyword, right? Extends mother. And how to connect another parent? Let's try to use using comma. Father. ఈ కోడ్ వర్క్ అవుతుందా లేదా జస్ట్ సింటాక్స్ పరంగా విల్ ట్రై టు కంపైల్ అండ్ సి. విల్ జస్ట్ రన్, క్లిక్ ఆన్ రన్. ఏదైనా ఎర్రర్ చూపించింది అంటే విచ్ మీన్స్ ఇట్ ఈస్ నాట్ రన్నింగ్. డిడ్ ఇట్ షో ఎనీ ఎర్రర్? అండ్ వేర్ ఇస్ ద ఎర్రర్? ఇట్ ఈస్ నియర్ ద కామా. సో జావాలో అసలు అది వర్క్ అవ్వట్లేదు. వాట్ ఈస్ ద రీజన్? Java doesn't want to support this kind of use case where it has multiple parents. So does Java support multiple inheritance? Java doesn't support multiple inheritance. And why it doesn't support, we will see. Like our reason enti anadi kuda we will try to explore after going to Python and Kotlin. Okay, let's see if Python actually works or not. Yes, with interface it works, Geeta, but interface lo kuda there are some things that you need to know. We will also discuss them when we start working on the abstraction. Okay, class, let me say mother, pass, class father, pass, and now I'm going to create a class child, and దీంట్లో ఎలా మనం బ్రాకెట్స్లో పంపిస్తాం, రైట్? సో లెట్ మీ పాస్ ఫ్రమ్ హియర్ మదర్ కామా ఫాదర్. Let's see if this will work or not. Yes, program did not output anything, but did we get any problem? Did we get any error? So we can pass multiple parents to one children using just comma, right? So is Python supporting multiple inheritance? Java did not support multiple inheritance. Is Python supporting multiple inheritance? Can a child have multiple parents at once? Yes, it can. So Python it is working. Let's go and see in Kotlin now. Class mother. Since we are just checking whether it is supported or not, we are not giving any variables or functions or anything inside the classes. Father. And now let me create a class child. And Kotlin కాబట్టి we use colon mother comma father. Let's try to run this. Did it work? We got an error at this particular line where child is extending mother and father. And what is the reason? So does Kotlin support multiple inheritance? Tell me guys, does Kotlin support multiple inheritance? Kotlin lo kuda manam run chesinapudu we got some error. So even Kotlin doesn't support multiple inheritance. So overall ga manam choostunna languages lo which language is supporting multiple inheritance? Only Python, right? And apart from Python, real world lo inka vere programming languages kuda unnai. What other languages can support multiple inheritance? Does C++ support multiple inheritance? Kotlin doesn't support multiple inheritance. Python supports it, and C++ also supports it. Okay, so Java and Kotlin do not support multiple inheritance. Now let's go back and try to use this analogy, and then దీంతో hybrid work అవుతుందా లేదా try చేద్దాం. సో లెట్స్ సే హైబ్రిడ్ అంటే ఏంటి మనకి, యూ హ్యావ్ వన్ పేరెంట్ అండ్ it has two children. Now ఈ two children నుంచి మళ్ళీ we are getting a single child, right? So in this case, is this supported in Java? You guys tell me. మనం ఇప్పటి వరకు రాసిన కోడ్ని బేస్ చేసుకొని can you guys tell me whether this is supported in Java, Python and Kotlin? Can anyone tell me that? Is hybrid inheritance supported in Java, Python and Kotlin? So ఇలాంటప్పుడు you can just apply whatever the knowledge that you already have. For example, let's take this part. What inheritance type is this? Yellow color box lo unna items, what inheritance type is it? No, it has multiple children, right? One parent, multiple children. Is it single inheritance? It is hierarchical, right? Next, let's take this one, the bottom half. What kind of inheritance is this? It is multiple. So now, if you want a language to support hybrid inheritance, what should it support? It should support both hierarchical support cheyali, multiple kuda support cheyali. Can we try to like identify whether a programming language supports hybrid inheritance now? ఎక్కడైతే hierarchical support ఉంటుంది, multiple support ఉంటుందో అక్కడ మాత్రమే we can achieve hybrid inheritance, right? So Javalo, is it possible? In Java, hierarchical supported? Hierarchical is supported. And Java multiple supported? No. So hybrid, is it possible? ఈ స్ట్రక్చర్ రావాలి అంటే మనకి డెఫినెట్గా ఈ రెండు సపోర్ట్ ఉండాలి, రైట్? సో ఇట్ ఈస్ నాట్ పాసిబుల్. నెక్స్ట్, పైథాన్ hierarchical, is it supported? Yes. And how about multiple? Does it support multiple inheritance? Yes. So ఈ రెండు సపోర్ట్ చేస్తే హైబ్రిడ్ పాసిబుల్? Yes, it is possible. How about Kotlin? Does it support hierarchical? Yes. Multiple? Multiple it doesn't support. Hybrid? ఈ రెండు సపోర్ట్ చేస్తేనే మనకు హైబ్రిడ్ ట్రూ అవుతుంది, రైట్? నౌ ఇఫ్ యూ గో ఫర్ ఎనీ అదర్ న్యూ లాంగ్వేజ్, లెట్స్ సే C++, does it support hierarchical? Yes. Multiple? Yes. If you know these two things, is it, can we tell whether it is possible for hybrid? Yes, it is yes, right? So we are just using a small common logic, that's it. Based on that, we are able to identify whether it is possible or not. Okay. Now let's talk in terms of interview perspective also. So whenever someone asks you, Java lo, what are the different inheritance types that are supported? What will you answer? How many types are supported in Java? Three types: single level, multi-level, and then hierarchical, right? And then why the other two types are not supported in Java? Most of the times people will ask why multiple inheritance and hybrid inheritance are not supported in Java. What should we say? First thing, since multiple is not supported, hybrid is not possible, right? దీన్ని ఎలిమినేట్ చేసేటప్పుడు మనము నెక్స్ట్ మల్టిపుల్ ఎందుకు పాసిబుల్ అవ్వదు? నౌ దిస్ ఇస్ ద క్వశ్చన్. దిస్ ఈస్ లైక్ ఎ $1 million క్వశ్చన్. లైక్ ప్రతి ఇంటర్వ్యూలో చాలా కామన్గా ఉండే క్వశ్చన్ ఇది. సో వాట్ షుడ్ బి సే అండ్ వై ఇస్ ఇట్ నాట్ రియల్లీ పాసిబుల్? వై మల్టిపుల్ ఇన్హెరిటెన్స్ ఈజ్ నాట్ పాసిబుల్? జస్ట్ డిస్కస్ చేద్దామా, అది కూడా ట్రై చేసి చూద్దామా ఎందుకు వర్క్ అవ్వదు అన్నది. What do you guys tell? So first, let's see. For example, మనం ఇంతకే అనుకున్నాం మదర్ అండ్ ఫాదర్, రైట్? And then you have a child. Now, you say, like, for example, in real life, ఒకవేళ నిన్న వి ఆల్రెడీ డిస్కస్, రైట్? లైక్ వి థాట్ దట్ ఇంటెలిజెన్స్ అన్నది లేదా స్కిన్ టోన్ ఆర్ సర్టన్ క్వాలిటీస్ ఆర్ సమ్ డిసీజెస్ ఇలాంటివి మనకి పేరెంట్స్ నుంచి వస్తాయి. బట్ ఈస్ దేర్ అ పాసిబిలిటీ దట్ వీ కెన్ గెట్ వన్ పర్టికులర్ ప్రాపర్టీ ఫ్రమ్ బోత్ ద పేరెంట్స్? ఇద్దరి నుంచి ఒకే ప్రాపర్టీ వచ్చే ఛాన్స్ ఉంటుందా? For example, skin tone. Is it possible that we'll get skin tone from mother and we will get skin tone from father also? It is not possible, right? So how does it decide? Now, let's take another example. If the child is studying in school and school lo parents ni తీసుకొని రమ్మని చెప్పారు. Okay? Now, whom should the child call? Should the child call mother or father? Tell me, guys. In school, they are just asking to get a parent. That's it. Now, children, ఎవరిని కాల్ చేయాలి? మదర్ని కాల్ చేయాలా, ఫాదర్ని కాల్ చేయాలా? హూ విల్ మేక్ దిస్ డెసిషన్? ఎనీవన్. బట్ ఆ ఎనీవన్ అన్న డెసిషన్ ఎవరు చేస్తారు? Either mother or father, it is good. Like for school, it doesn't matter. But who is going to take that decision? That is a problem now. Real life ఏంటి? Child has to think of it and he has to understand who is available right now or who will be available during that time. Based on multiple factors, they have to decide it, right? Java doesn't want to care all these things. They want to make sure that if there is a parent and if there is a child, పేరెంట్ నుంచి చైల్డ్కి మనకి ఏవైతే ప్రాపర్టీస్ వస్తున్నాయో, there shouldn't be any confusion. There shouldn't be any decision that we need to make. It should just come off. That's it. We should be able to use them directly. ఇలాంటి కన్ఫ్యూజన్, చైల్డ్ ఎవరిని కాల్ చేయాలి అనే ఇలాంటి కన్ఫ్యూజన్స్ షుడ్ నాట్ బి క్రియేటెడ్. దట్ ఈస్ ద రీజన్ సర్టన్ లాంగ్వేజెస్, సమ్ ప్రోగ్రామింగ్ లాంగ్వేజెస్, దే డు నాట్ వాంట్ మల్టిపుల్ ఇన్హెరిటెన్స్ టు టేక్ కేర్. Is it clear, guys? So Java doesn't want this kind of confusion to happen. Otherwise, what happens? Children, when they when they think like they wanted to call mother, what will happen? Father will feel bad, right? If the child calls father, mother will feel bad. So someone is getting affected, right? We don't know who is getting called. So ఇలాంటి ప్రాబ్లమ్స్ ఉండకుండా ఉండడానికి what are we doing? Java doesn't want to get into this kind of trouble. Now, Java ఇలాంటి ప్రాబ్లమ్స్ని అవాయిడ్ చేసేస్తుంది, which is happy. Kotlin కూడా for the same reason it is avoiding. Now, let's go to Python. Python is supporting it. So how does Python work? Python ఎలా హ్యాండిల్ చేస్తుంది దీన్ని? Tell me, guys. Anyone? Any guess? Who will make the decision? And how are they going to make the decision? Python lo, how are we going to make this kind of decision? Python is much simpler and straightforward. So what it does is, మీరు ఇక్కడ ఏదైతే ఆర్డర్ ఇచ్చారో, when you have multiple parents, you are giving the order, right? Who is the first parent, who is the second parent? Based on that, it is going to first parent directly. If first parent lekapothe, then it will go to second parent, right? So how does Python handle? It is not making any decisions by its own. It is just using your information. మీరు ఏ ఆర్డర్లో ఇచ్చారో అదే ఆర్డర్లో ఇట్ ఈస్ ట్రైంగ్ టు కాల్ దట్ పర్టికులర్ ఫంక్షనాలిటీ. సో ఇఫ్ యూ పాస్ లైక్ దిస్, మదర్ కామా ఫాదర్, దెన్ like whenever you want the child to call parent, whom will the child call? Mother. In case if mother is not available, she is not in the town, she went for some like on-site or some other meeting or something, then who should the child call? Father. In case if the order is reverse, if the order is reverse, what will happen? Child will look for father first. If father is not there, then child will ask the mother, right? So every programming language handles it differently. Like in Python, we are handling it in this particular way. If it is in Java or Kotlin, they don't want to get into this trouble. They just wanted to avoid it completely. So in Java and Kotlin, these two are not supported. And why are they not supported? It just wants to avoid the confusion. When you have same variable or same method in both the parents, Java doesn't want to get a confusion like whom to call. మీరు ఇచ్చే ఇన్పుట్ బేస్ చేసుకొని ఆర్డర్ని బేస్ చేసుకొని ఇట్ డజంట్ వాంట్ టు మేక్ దట్ డెసిషన్. దట్ ఈస్ ద రీజన్ ఇట్ అవాయిడ్స్ దట్ కన్ఫ్యూజన్. అండ్ సో జావా అండ్ Kotlin, they support only three types: single, hierarchical, and multi-level, where any child can have only one parent, right? Here you can see, right? If you take any children, it will have only one parent. There is no way that a child can have multiple parents. Clear, guys, everyone? Any questions, anyone? Now, Java and Kotlin లో multiple inheritance achieve చేయడానికి there is another way using interfaces. We will discuss that when we are discussing about abstraction concept, like in the next sessions. Now, let's try to go a little bit into these things, and then we'll try to understand about access specifiers also. Yesterday, we also discussed about private, public, protected, right? So how are we going to use those things in different languages? ఇక్కడ మనం పేమెంట్ అంటే ప్రొటెక్టెడ్ అని ఇచ్చాము, రైట్? Let's say you can see protected and icham. Alage, if you have a method, let's say void display, okay? Let's say display transaction details. Payment type in tarvata manam ee functionality use chestam, right? Now, should it be public, private, or protected? Display transaction details. Should it be public, private, or protected? Transaction details only కొంతమందికి visible undala, or like can it be visible for everyone? It is like a receipt basically, whatever the receipt that you are trying to print. So which one should it be? If it is private, only payment can use it. No one else can actually call that. But మనకి అది ఎక్కడెక్కడ కాల్ చేస్తాము? క్యాష్ పేమెంట్లో యూజ్ చేయొచ్చు, యూపీఐ పేమెంట్లో యూజ్ చేయొచ్చు. యూ కెన్ యూజ్ ఇట్ ఇన్ ఎనీ particular payment class, right? So either we can keep it public or protected. It depends on our use case. మీరు ఒకవేళ దీన్ని వేరే దగ్గర చెక్అవుట్ పేజ్లో కూడా యూజ్ చేయాలి అనుకుంటే we have to keep it as public, right? If you want to use only inside the payment related classes, we have to keep it protected. Done? So in Java, how do we use these things? We just write either private or public or protected. Directly మనం ఈ keywords use చేస్తున్నాము. How do we do the same thing in Python? Let's try to see. Let's say you have a payment class. Here we have a method which is self. Now, is this public or private or protected by default? By default, it is public. So now, how to make it private? If you want a method to be private, how to do that? There is no keyword like private over here. So we have to simply, and method names kuda manamu we use snake case, right? We use like this. And how to make this private or protected? By default, it is public, so which is fine. If you want to make it private, give 2 underscores. If you give 2 underscores, what does it mean? This can be accessed only within payment class. It is private. Underscore, underscore. If you wanted it to be protected, what should we do? Public either. Public, we don't need to write anything. For protected, instead of 2 underscores, write 1 underscore. So for protected, how do we write it? Just a single underscore. the method name should start with single underscore, two underscores, or no underscores. Single underscore ante edi? It is protected. It can be accessed only in the child classes. And when it comes to double underscore, it is private. It can be accessed only inside payment class. And when you say public, you don't need any underscores in the beginning of the function. Okay, guys? So Python, they thought this is much better way to do it instead of keeping another keyword and all. That's the reason they're using underscores. As we already discussed, ఒక ప్రోగ్రామింగ్ లాంగ్వేజ్ తయారు చేసేటప్పుడు దే విల్ థింక్ ఆఫ్ ఆల్ దీస్ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ ఆస్పెక్ట్స్. ఏదైతే సింపుల్గా ఉంటుంది, ఏది బెటర్గా ఉంటుంది అన్నది. యూ కాంట్ సే దట్ లైక్ డెఫినెట్గా ఇదే కరెక్ట్, ఇది రాంగ్ అని మనం చెప్పలేము. సో అందుకని పైథాన్ కమ్స్ విత్ సమ్ అడ్వాంటేజెస్, జావా కమ్స్ విత్ సమ్ అడ్వాంటేజెస్, కాట్లిన్ కమ్స్ విత్ a different set of advantages. So we need to think of which one to use, right? Now, let's see how the same thing works in Kotlin. We already seen that like Kotlin is a kind of combination, right? Java lo unna functionality anta untundi, Python lo unna simplicity kuda untundi. So in Kotlin, if you want to create a new method, we have created this. And we use camel case, right? Done. Now, is this method public, private, or protected by default? By default, is it public, private, or protected? By default in Kotlin, every variable and method is public. Same Kotlin, Python lo ela untinదో alage ikkada kuda. Python lo kuda when you don't mention any underscore, it is public, right? Alage in Kotlin also by default it is public. If you want to specify it as private, you have to just give it before the function or variable, private keyword. So it is using both Java and Python combination. And if you want to keep it as protected, type protected keyword. So private or protected you can use the keywords. If it is public, you don't need to mention anything. By default, it assumes it as public. Clear, guys? So private under the Java, like let me ask you these questions. You guys tell me. I want to declare a variable which is called total amount, and it should be private. So how should we do it in Java? Variable is total amount, and I want it to be private. How do we write it in Java? Can you guys type it in the chat box? Private total amount, and we should also mention the data type, right? Next, how do we write the same thing in Python? Yes, Python we don't declare it, but we use it whenever you want. You can directly use using underscore. Two underscores is it is private, right? Next, how do we write it in Kotlin? I need a private total amount variable. How do we write it in Kotlin? It is similar to Java, just the syntax changes. Private, and then you'll use either val or var, and then you'll use total amount, column, float or double, whatever the data type that we use, right? Same thing with functions also. Now, so we also discussed like how we can write code in 3 different languages for the inheritance thing. And inheritance ఏ languages support చేస్తుంది and how it is supporting అన్నది కూడా we have seen it, right? So now, does multi-level inheritance is supported in Java? Tell me, guys, is multi-level inheritance supported in Java? True or false? It is supported. Next, is multiple inheritance supported in Kotlin? True or false? Multiple inheritance is not supported. Yes. Next, is hybrid inheritance supported in Python? Is hybrid inheritance supported in Python? Yes, it is supported. And how does Python decide which method to call, which parent method to call? It is based on the order of parameters. And in Python, we also call it, we have a term called MRO, method resolution order. So basically it will decide which method you are actually calling. Mother lo unna method call chestunara, father lo unna method call chestunara. If you want to see that, you can also see that using a parameter actually. For example, if you wanted to see something like this, you can just type using whatever the class that you wanted to see. For example, if you wanted to see in Paytm UPI, type Paytm UPI dot underscore underscore, and we can type MRO, which is method resolution order. So this will return you what is the kind of order that will actually show all the information. Let's try to print this once. Now you can see there is an order here. The order along the student first, which one it is calling? First Paytm UPI lo chustundi. Aa tarvata ekkada chustundi? UPI payment, and then it will check it in payment. Now if you try to do the same thing for child class, మనం ఇక్కడ child class with multiple parents create chesam, right? Let's try to print that also. Child dot underscore underscore MRO. What is MRO full form? It is method resolution order. So now let's try to see. So first child ki edaina method or variable check cheyalante, where is it checking? It is checking in child class, and then mother class, then father class, and then a default one which is object. Now in case if I change the order, we'll try to see. Mother and father badalu, what will I do? I'll just change it to father and mother. Now if I run this, what will happen? You can see the order: child, father, mother, right? So you can basically see what is the order of checking, like where exactly it is checking for the variable or method, and then how it is actually accessing them. Is it clear, guys, everyone? Any questions so far? So this is a primary reason e MRO on a concept is completely unique when you compare with Java or Kotlin. That is the reason we are saying that Python can support multiple inheritance. And since multiple is possible, what is the other inheritance that is possible? Multiple possible ayindi anukondi, hybrid is also possible, right? If multiple is not supported, then hybrid is not possible. We have seen that in Java and Kotlin, right? So if anyone asks you if Java supports all types of inheritances, what is the answer? Does Java support 5 inheritance types? No. How many times does Java support? You can ask this question to your friends and all. Most of them actually they'll say 2 types, single level and multi level. But it is not true. In reality, it supports 3 different types. What are those? Single level, multi level, and hierarchical also. And hierarchical ఎందుకు సపోర్ట్ చేస్తుందంటే hierarchical లో కూడా every children has only one parent. That is the reason it is able to support it. Clear, guys, everyone? Any questions? So just try to watch this video if you have any confusions, because this is one of the primary concept which will come in almost like all possible interviews. ప్రతి ఇంటర్వ్యూలో దీని మీద డెఫినెట్గా ఒక క్వశ్చన్ ఉండే ఛాన్స్ ఉంటుంది. I'm not saying to understand this just for interviews, but if you understand this concept, ఈ కాన్సెప్ట్లో మనం చాలా నేర్చుకున్నాము. లైక్ హౌ డస్ ఇట్ యాక్చువల్లీ సాల్వ్ అ పర్టికులర్ ప్రాబ్లమ్. జావా అండ్ కాట్లిన్ సపోర్ట్ చేయని ఒక కొత్త ఇన్హెరిటెన్స్ టైప్ని హౌ డస్ పైథాన్ సపోర్ట్ ఇట్. అలాగే C++ ఆల్సో సపోర్ట్స్ ఇట్, రైట్? C++ ఎలా సపోర్ట్ చేస్తుంది? Is it just similar to Python or is it something else? You can try to explore it. C++, how does this kind of problem being solved? And just one more thing, we call this as diamond problem. Diamond problem ante you have one parent, 2 children, and then another grandchildren. రైట్? సో నా ఇక్కడ ఏదైనా మీరు మెథడ్ కాల్ చేస్తే అది ఇక్కడ నుంచి వస్తుందా వీ డోంట్ నో. అండ్ ద సేమ్ మెథడ్ ఆర్ వేరియబుల్ కెన్ బి దేర్ ఇన్ ద పేరెంట్ ఆల్సో. సో ఇన్ దట్ కేస్ వీ డోంట్ నో విచ్ మెథడ్ ఈజ్ యాక్చువల్లీ we are getting kind of execution. Python lo chusinapudu we know that this is how it was working, but when it comes to Java, it doesn't want to think of all these confusions. That is the reason it is avoiding this diamond problem. Multiple inheritance or hybrid inheritance is not possible because there is a diamond problem. Diamond problem lo a child doesn't know from where the implementation is actually coming from. Is it from the parents or grandparents, right? యా, సో దట్స్ ఇట్ ఫర్ టుడే గైస్. టుమారో మనం ఈరోజు ఏవైతే పేమెంట్స్ ఇవి యూజ్ చేసామో సేమ్ పేమెంట్స్ వి విల్ ట్రై టు ఇంప్లిమెంట్ ఇట్ ఇన్ అవర్ అప్లికేషన్. చెక్అవుట్లో వాట్ ఈస్ ద లాస్ట్ స్టెప్? ఇఫ్ యూ వాంట్ టు ఫినిష్ చెక్అవుట్, ద ఫైనల్ స్టెప్ విల్ బి payment, right? So we will integrate payment into our checkout system, and once payment is completed, then we will go into the previous screens, which are product listing, product details. Ala our screens loki kuda we will get into them. Okay, we will apply whatever the knowledge that we have gained from here and we'll put it in our application so that you can put that in your resume as well. Clear guys? Any questions, anyone? So if you have any questions, let's discuss during the question and answer session. Cool. Thank you guys. Thank you so much.